Hey guys, John here from LearningGuitarNow.com, and in this podcast, I want to show you kind of a continuation of the previous podcast where we looked at Peter Green style, Need Your Love So Bad kind of solo, similar to that style. We're going to continue on with that vibe. It's the same type of a track, except in this track, we're going to raise the dynamics up, so we're playing a little bit more intense level, and I'm going to change the style to maybe an Eric Clapton kind of thing. Not exactly, but something in that vibe. In this free podcast version, we're going to take a look at the first 3 licks of this mini solo played through an 8-bar blues. And if you would like the second half of the solo, think about becoming an All Access Pass subscriber. You'll also receive the backing track, the tab, and the interactive version, as well as over 120-30 hours. It's a lot of material I've recorded, about 10 years worth of video in the All Access Pass. So if you're looking to step up your blues game a little bit, learn some slide guitar, check out the All Access Pass. Okay, now I'm going to break down this solo for you into 6 separate licks. The first lick, once again, we're playing in the key of A, and this is an 8-bar blues. So right before the 8-bar blues starts, this is played over the 5 chord, the turnaround section right before the next 8-bar blues comes in. So I'm coming in on the 9th count. We're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And on the 9th count, we're going to do this lick. So right when I'm bending that 15th fret the 3rd time, so we're starting on the 14th fret of the G string here, and we got this 13, 15 on the B string. This is all 4th position minor pentatonic scale here. Bend it up 2 frets, just a full step bend, do it 3 times. And then the 3rd one is when the downbeat comes and the A chord comes in. Pull it down, release it to 13, and then strike that 14th twice. Add some vibrato to it. Then 13 on the B, back to 14 on the G string, then 13, 15, and then bend that 13th fret up just gradually and cut it off. That's a typical Clapton move, just bending that minor 3rd. Especially in that 4th position minor pentatonic scale. A lot of times you'll see he'll do it a lot right here. But it sounds great in this 4th position. A lot of people don't use the 4th position minor pentatonic as much, and I feel like Clapton wears it out. This is a really cool lick to demonstrate that. In the first 8-bar blues that I taught, it was a more laid back, using major. This one's more minor pentatonic. So you got... Now, it's a really cool lick right there. Let's go ahead and move on to lick number 2. We're still on the A chord, and lick 2 is this. Okay, so the second little part here, lick 2, we're still in the 4th position minor pentatonic scale. I'm bending up 15th fret of the high E string, pull it down. That's coming in right on the downbeat. Over the A chord, 15 on the B, 12 on the high E, and then bend up 15, pull it down, release it to 13, hit 14. And when you're playing in this little minor pentatonic section, you always want to know where your root note is. Root note, 14th fret G string here. If you take 15th fret on the high E string, that's the root note. So always be aware where your root notes are at. You can always start and end on those, no matter what chord you're playing over, and it'll sound good. So we have this section. And then we go back to 15, back to 14, and then 13, 15. And just gradually bend that 13th fret. I really like using that sound. I hear Eric Clapton and tons of blues players doing that as well. Just bending that 13th fret here, which is the minor 3rd to the major 3rd, but you're not quite getting it to the major 3rd. And then I'm going to bar my either finger. I'm using my 3rd finger here on the 14th fret of the G and the D string. roll it down, 12, and then pull off. 12, 14 on the G, vibrato, pull off to 12. So that little section went like this. Rest. And that's the second lick. Okay, so now we're going to move to the third lick, and the chord progression has now went to the D chord. So the third lick sounds like this. We're going to rest for 2 beats, 1, 2. I'm counting this as a 12/8 blues. And that's the third lick. So we came to the fourth chord, which is the D chord, and now I'm moving, I went minor pentatonic section, fourth position. Now I'm going back to that major section over the D chord. I think it sounds great. Slide into 11th fret of the G string, 10th fret of the B string, 12th fret of the B string, back to 11 on the G string, 10th fret of the B string. It's a really cool phrase there. And then 11 to 10. Now we're going to take 12 and bend it up to the minor third, really. Pull it down, release to 10, 11, vibrato that 10th fret, and then cut the whole thing off by just striking that 11. Now that's a typical B.B. King move. A lot of times he'll cut off his phrases on that 11th fret. It's just a really easy little lick that I think sounds great over a slow blues. And just classic B.B. King, cutting it off. And you also notice that 11th fret on the G string, that's a note that's contained in the D chord, the major third. And that's another reason why it sounds cool over the 4 chord. So that's just a little bit of why that note works there. And so that's it for the third lick.